Okay, guys, we are going down again to the southeastern part of this entire hill, what was known as Mount Zion. Back in the First Temple period, the mountain that King David conquered from the Jebusites with his army when he sent Joab up the fortification wall to inhabit the city. And we're heading down to the area which is called Area E. And I wanted to show you guys a unique spot, one of my favorite spots, where we can actually see above ground where the inscription was found. All right, guys, this is what I wanted to show you. This is the point above ground in which lines up with where they found the Siloam inscription. Now, this obviously is a replica. If you can come in a little bit closer, Josh, just to kind of get a relative idea of what it looks like. They found this on the southern portion of the tunnel, and the inscription gets into the details of the digging, how the excavators were able to complete this incredibly difficult task, and it's really confirmation of everything that we understand about the tunnel, about when the tunnel was dug, about who dug the tunnel. And so it's an incredible find. Can't wait to talk to you guys about it. When you come here for yourselves, you'll be able to see this for yourselves and know exactly where to stand. So continue watching. Glad to have you with us. Now, another thing that makes this inscription so important is the fact that we can actually use, now come closer, Hannah. You're not going to be able to see very well, but if you look, there's the plastered replication of the actual writing. Go ahead and back out. And that's done in Paleo Hebrew, First Temple period Hebrew. And there's a lot of different features that this Hebrew contains that helps us date the actual inscription. Why is that important? Well, like everything else in archaeology in Israel, a lot of things are debated. The dating of the entire underground system and the Canaanite system, the dating of Hezekiah's tunnel is also debated. The majority view has been, since it was discovered, and still remains to this day, that it was cut during the Iron II age, during the end of the 8th century, going into possibly the early 7th century. But again, that view's it's been challenged, it's changed over time. Archaeologists find new data and they change their views, and they come back and revise their views. So even though that's still, for the most part, the traditional and majority view, there are others that say no, the tunnel was dug as late as the Hellenistic period, or the tunnel could have been dug centuries before Hezekiah, during the 9th century. And so it's important to have this epigraphic data from inscriptions so that we can better confirm the dates of the tunnel.
Now, as I said, the style of the writing in the Siloam inscription plays a key role in discussions about the inscription itself, and by extension, the dating of the inscription and the tunnel. Through one crucial tool, paleography, which is the study of ancient scripts, we're enabled to estimate the age of texts by analyzing the development and characteristics of letters and forms, and the writing itself is in Paleo Hebrew script, which traces its origin back to what scholars refer to as Proto-Canaanite script. This early writing system represents the first true alphabet distinct from logographic and syllabic systems like those used in Akkadian and Egyptian writing. Now, although Ugaritic also employed an alphabetic system, it retained cuneiform style signs, much like Akkadian. In contrast, Proto-Canaanite used pictographic symbols, each representing a specific sound or letter. The earliest known examples of this script have been discovered in Egypt at sites such as Wadi el Hol and Tzerabit el Khadem in the Sinai Peninsula. Because of these locations, these inscriptions were initially labeled Proto-Sinaitic. However, scholars now recognize that this alphabetic tradition later re-emerged and even evolved in Canaan, eventually giving rise to the Phoenician script and subsequently the ancient Hebrew script. As a result, this script is now referred to as Proto-Canaanite, and this term is considered more accurate. Over time, the script continued to develop, and the style of writing seen in the Siloam inscription represents a later stage of this long tradition, covering a broad chronological range from the First Temple period all the way through the Hasmonean period. Comparable inscriptions that predate the Siloam inscription include the Gezer calendar, the Moabite stele of King Mesha, the Kuntilet Ajrud inscriptions. This table is taken from Shmuel Achituv in his book Echoes from the Past, Hebrew and Cognitive Inscriptions from the Biblical Period. And what you'll notice here is Achituv has various styles of script from different periods. The very top line, line 1, taken from the Gezer inscription, which is the oldest inscription ever found in the land of Israel. This script is very closely modeled after the Proto-Canaanite script, and it dates to the 10th century. The inscription was found in Tel Gezer. The next line is from the Mesha stele, which is also an early Canaanite inscription dating to the middle of the 9th century, 840 BC, I believe. And it has, again, similar script closely relating to the Phoenician script, the Proto-Canaanite script written in this style. As you can see, the similarities of the writing in the region. The next script, line 3, is from the Kuntelit Ajrud inscriptions. These date to the 9th century BCE also. And just how the script is somewhat evolving over time, the shifts in shape and style are slight, but still noticeable. And then when we get to line 4, we get to our inscription style, the Siloam inscription, dating to the end of the 8th century BC, going into the 7th century BC, and it fits right within this frame. This is how we can look at styles of writing, styles of paleoscript, and closely examine them in comparison to other ancient scripts, other ancient Hebrew scripts, even other ancient Phoenician scripts. I just thought it would be neat to show you guys different styles of scripts. The top line, obviously, I didn't mention, but it's apparent that this is the modern Hebrew alphabet with respect to which letters we're looking at here in the lower lines. And the last line, line 5, are the Lachish letters found at Tel Lachish, those dating to the 6th century BC. So again, this is pre-exilic script, Paleo-Hebrew, with a wide range of dating and use, dating all the way from the 10th century BC, all the way just before the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BCE at Tel Lachish. And so fascinating stuff. We can look at these styles of writings and we can examine them closely to look for similarities and parallel scripts and styles and other inscriptions. This transcription was taken from Ian Young and Robert Rezetko's Linguistic Dating of Biblical Texts, Volume 1, An Introduction to Approaches and Its Problems. They go over the different monarchic inscriptions. Definitely recommend the reading. Note the brackets, which are left for interpreters to fill in. These are typically because of cracks in the inscriptions and missing words, and so it's not uncommon for interpreters and epigraphers to insert their assumptions as to what the text will say if it were there. And generally these are agreed upon, the inserted words that we have here. I've looked at multiple transcriptions and I haven't found any that are incredibly different thus far. All right, guys, here goes my attempt at reading Young and Rezetko's transcription of the inscription. זאת הנקבה, וזה היה דבר הנקבה בעוד מנפים החוצבים איש אל רעהו, ובעוד 3 אמות להינקב נשמע כל איש קורא אל רעהו, כי היית זדה בצור מימין ומשמאל, וביום הנקבה הכו החוצבים איש לקראת רעהו גרזן על גרזן, וילכו המים מן המועצה אל 200,000 אמה, ו100 אמה היה גובה הצור על ראש החוצבים. This is the tunnel, and this is the matter of the cutting. While the excavators are lifting the axe, a man to his friend, until 3 more cubits to be pierced, the voice of a man calling to his friend was heard, because there was a fissure in the rock of the south and from the north. And on the day of the piercing, the excavators hit one man to meet his friend, axe upon axe. and the waters went from the source to the pool 1,200 cubits, and 100 cubits was its height of the rock above the head of the excavators. Did you catch the strange enunciation in my reading? If you know Hebrew, read Hebrew, or have ever heard a Hebrew conversation, you would have caught the strange dialect that I was attempting to read in. That's because I was following, or attempting at least, to follow the pronunciation of the First Temple period. You see, because this inscription is so ancient, it is a totally different way of pronouncing normal Hebrew words that we typically hear every day or read in the Bible. For example, check out in line 1 the word beod. I read it as be'aud. Why? Well, that's because scholars believe that during this time, there were no vowel letters used in the middle of words, and so this vav would have actually been a pronounced diphthong consonant, be'aud, with the wa. Let's hop down to line 2. We see it again, ube'aud. Another interesting feature of this inscription and its writing is the spelling. Check out in line 2, right next to ube'aud, shalosh, shin, lamed, shin. No vav. Again, if you read Hebrew, that would look strange to you because we need a vav in order to make the o sound. But here, we have defective spelling. There are several examples of this in the inscription, and if you're interested in learning more about it, you can read my article where I go in depth discussing the different examples of the vowel letters used in the middle of words and also the defective spelling that's used throughout the inscription. All these linguistic features point to just how ancient and archaic this inscription is and how amazing it is to be able to get a glimpse into the window of ancient Hebrew and its earliest stages of development. Pretty cool, right? Just an incredible story, an incredible memorial inscription to commemorate this amazingly ingenious act of engineering, digging from one side of the bedrock to the other side of the bedrock throughout this hill to meet one another and to accomplish this just before the siege of the Assyrians in order to create this safe way of passage for their water into the city. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you guys have really learned quite a bit, hopefully, about the Siloam inscription and about Hezekiah's tunnel overall, and how it confirms biblical history, how it confirms the archaeology, how it is another witness to the events that are recorded in our scriptures. And so it's been a pleasure. It's been lots of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is AJ with Ancient Bible World. Until next time, take care.